Humans love stakes. Our chest gets tight when their team is about to lose in the final inning of a baseball game. Humans love novelty. We travel across the world to dine in a 5-star restaurant. So mastering human nature is about mastering storytelling, narrative. And I'm not talking about writing a novel. I'm talking about like the structure of reality in a sense. So I'm not going to teach you how to write a short story. I'm going to teach you the principles of value creation to get people to pay attention, to position what you have to offer as valuable, and to get them to take action on it, be that to pay you, to change their own behavior, or to just get what you want, which we'll go over. Now, if you understand these principles that we're going to go over, you will write better, speak better, create better products, attract more customers, make more friends, and understand how to create value for others, thus increasing the value of yourself. So in essence, I'm teaching you marketing, sales, and how to influence people all in one go. And I genuinely don't think you'll understand the importance of this until you actually implement it, which most people won't. I made a video, I think like 3 years ago on the same topic. And for the people that actually understand this and what I'm saying here and see the patterns across all the different industries, it is completely life-changing. It is a completely different frame from how you operate within the world. And I'm genuinely convinced that this is the frame that most successful people have, and unsuccessful people simply just can't see through it. So the mind has 3 pressure points, and if you press any one of them, attention, them giving you attention, is almost involuntary. That is, if you're speaking to a person who is prone to that specific tension or pressure point. And if you press all 3 of them, you have a grip on someone that logic alone can't break. So I want you to keep these 3 tensions in mind whenever you interact with someone or go to write something or anything where you're interacting with another person. Writing on social media is interacting with a bunch of people at once. Just hold it in your mind until it sticks in there. Now, the first tension is the survival tension, because the mind is a story engine, but it's also a set of survival strategies. We're in a constant subconscious threat detection mode because we still have the same wiring as our hunter-gatherer ancestors. We don't want to die, obviously, so we desire safety and solutions to problems. And if you can make someone aware of a problem, then provide a solution. That's sales in a nutshell and storytelling in a nutshell. So when I personally talk about storytelling, again, I'm not talking about writing a novel. I'm talking about problem, solution. That's what and the in-between, the transformation in between. Problem, transformation, solution. But the thing with the survival tension is that safety isn't just life or death situations. It can be a very small problem that is amplified into a big problem. And these problems can be financial or social or even just a missed opportunity, right? FOMO, because that gives you better chances at survival. Your mind is constantly looking for something that gives them a better chance at survival. And in today's world, that doesn't mean like necessarily better shelter or better home. It means better skills, better knowledge, so you can stay on top of, let's say, AI. If someone on Instagram is like, oh, I have the latest Claude skill that you can download, and it does this, this, and this, then you feel the sense of missed opportunity because you don't use Claude the same way, and you feel like you need to learn that. And the thing there is that it could genuinely be helpful, but you as a person, to protect your own mind from being manipulated, is you have to ruthlessly maintain your priorities and your values and your goals, because that Claude skill may not have anything to do with your priorities or goals, and you may get sucked in and distracted. That's the definition of distraction. So a few examples of this, well-worded examples of the survival tension illustrated as a problem or something that you would say, I guess, is 1, you wake up at 30 and realize you've been living on autopilot, and the gap between who you are and who you want to be is so large that change feels impossible. 2, you spend a decade building someone else's dreams just to find that they don't care about you at all. 3, there are people dumber than you making 10 times more than you because they don't think about the risk. And as you may be able to tell, I've written those before as social posts, and they grab attention because of this exact tension. Now, a quick aside and a quick self-promotion: if you want to build your personal brand in 30 days and learn the AI skills that you actually need, the next content bootcamp starts in just a few days. And this will teach you everything that you need to know about personal branding, content, how to write, how to generate compelling ideas that actually allow you to grow and get clients or just new opportunities, even new jobs. So if you want to learn a skill that compounds for the rest of your career, consider enrolling with the link in the description. Now, the second tension is the identity tension, and this comes after survival because it's deeply intertwined with survival. Because survival goes much deeper than physical survival. Animals try to reproduce the information in their genes through physical reproduction. Humans also do that, but we also try to reproduce the information in our consciousness through ideology, speaking, socialization. That's all we're doing. It's just all survival. This is why you feel threatened when someone threatens your identity, when they say, oh, your sports team sucks, and you're too identified with the sports team, and when they lose, you're on the verge of fighting someone, or you do get in a bar fight because of it. Or when someone says something bad about being a Republican or a Democrat or a Christian or an atheist or anything else, any ideology, any set of concepts that you hold as a part of yourself in your little mind, you get threatened by that, and you feel the response as if someone's holding a knife to your throat, even though they're not. Humans desire a tribe because it helps with survival, and you identify with that tribe. Humans desire status. They want belonging because, again, in your home, if you rebel against your parents, they're going to kick you out, potentially, if they're not open-minded. So you have to conform to their values and beliefs and their rules. This is also why you choose to be anti-AI or pro-AI, which is the new religion. And you argue into oblivion about it all day on social media with nothing to show for it. You get nowhere. You can regurgitate how AI is rotting your brain, or you can test that theory against reality and actually educate yourself on it. But that's not the point of this. That's a way to make yourself unsusceptible to people targeting your identity tension, because every time you argue about the anti-AI stuff or pro-AI stuff, you are a slave to someone else's ideals. And you do not seek truth. You seek hype, and you have not created your own mind. So that's the identity tension, and we'll learn how to target it. We're just going over what it is for now. But the third tension is the progress tension. So there's survival, identity, progress, and they each build on top of each other. People kind of evolve through the stages. And by now, you may be able to see the pattern, which is Maslow's hierarchy, the stages of ego development, spiral dynamics, developmental psychology in general. People at different levels of mind have different things that tap into their psychology and make them pay attention because they see it as important. So first, people need safety and comfort. Second, they need belonging and status. And once they solve those things, which preferably you're helping them do because you're a value creator, you're not a manipulator, you're not exploiting human nature to be unethical and just make a bunch of money. You're exploiting it, so to say, so you can help people rise through these stages. That's the ethical and meaningful version of this. And once they go through those first two stages, third, they crave deeper meaning, purpose, and experience. And the complex thing about humans is that you can desire any of these at different times, right? AI can't just pin down exactly where you are. That's why it's unique. That's why it's a difficult skill to learn and practice, because you're essentially able to read people's minds when you get it right. But people can desire these at any time. You can desire meaning and purpose, but if you're in a very stressful situation in your life or you lose a lot of money at one time, then you're going to regress down to the survival stage, and survival tension is going to hit you a lot harder, and you're going to be a lot more susceptible to people trying to exploit you. And for creators specifically, or personal brands, or people who are trying to do their own work online, or the writers or the speakers, or the writers or the speakers, the problem that I see is that people try to speak too much to the meaning and purpose crowd without understanding that 90% to 95% of people are not only beginners, but in the survival and identity stages. You have to work them up the ladder. If you want your content to be seen, then usually your topics revolve around the survival tension and the identity tension, but then your products and your lead magnets and deeper in your funnel, if you're a value creator, so to say, and not just an influencer trying to sell a weird product, I don't know. But you have to help them solve their lower level problems first, so that then you can help them with where you're experienced in, which is the meaning, the purpose, the spirituality, the fulfillment, all of that fun stuff, the deep philosophy. And this all sounds great, but what do you actually do with this information? How does it actually make you a better writer or speaker or businessman or husband or wife or just person, valuable person in general? How do you practice this skill? So now we're going to learn how to pull psychological levers to get what you want. And I want to start with just a quote that I love. I honestly pulled this from one of my previous newsletters. I don't know if I wrote it or if someone else did, so I hope that I'm not just stealing someone's quote here. But the modern information environment is breaking our ability to think. and most people don't even notice. Essays might be one of the last forms of content that actually develops your capacity to make sense of reality. And I say this because you can read all the books on persuasion. You can study psychology and behavior textbooks. You can think you know a lot about why humans think and act the way they do, but if you have not tested that knowledge against reality, then you do not know what you're talking about. You need feedback. You need to put something out into the world and see how people respond. You need to write. You need to speak. You need to create a product and sell it. Entrepreneurship equals self-improvement because the market and reality become your harsh mentor. This is why I recommend writing so much, because not only is writing clear thinking, you have to refine and clarify your thinking as you write it on the page, but there's a dual mechanism. When you post it, you get direct feedback as to how valuable it was. And in order for it to be valuable, it has to be attention grabbing and persuasive. You have to practice and refine the skill of human nature. So for now, understand that when I say you're pulling psychological levers or you're exploiting human nature, what I'm really saying is that you need to learn how to persuade. And persuasion is only as unethical as the person that wields the tool. It's the same with any other tool. A tool like money or AI is neutral until it's put in the hands of the stupid or the smart or the unethical or the ethical. So someone who resides at a lower level of mind in survival mode and all they can see is what is going to allow them to pay the bills this month, they're going to do anything to make that happen. And they will inevitably use persuasion in unethical ways. Since their sole priority is money rather than meaning or truth, because they don't feel comfortable financially, they will manipulate and scheme to acquire the money until those values fundamentally shift. So in my eyes, it's very important that you develop yourself. You pursue personal development and truth so you can reach this higher level of mind. And I don't say that to say that the lower level of mind is bad. Most people just don't have control over it. I think that is a great fundamental thing to pursue in your life so that you have a more positive impact on your customers or your readers or whoever it may be. So with that said, know where you stand, right? I'm not here to tell you how to use persuasion. You're going to use